Crossroads by Cordae.
Yes.
Man, what were your initial thoughts when listening to this project?
Yo, so my initial thoughts, because I like to think big picture. So I'm like, where is Cordae's mind at right now? Like, from Bird's Eye View, that's his second album to come out. I feel like it came and it went because his first album, Lost Boy, 5 years ago, that one was like heralded like by a lot of hip hop critics, a lot of his fans. I think that's where he got a lot of his fan base from a music standpoint, because of course he was with YBN, but he separated himself with that project because I think that's one of my favorite projects in the last 5 years, especially when it comes to the artist debut. You feel me? So I'm like, okay, where's his head at? Because the second album didn't really live up to the same hype, I don't think. And now when I listen to it and I'm reflecting on his new album, The Crossroads, I'm like, bro, I feel like this man, I don't know if he like used some AI generated machine or something, but it seemed like he took all the criticism for the second album and then resolved all those things for this album. Like this album, number one, is seamless, it's cohesive, the production is better, the lyrics are more focused, it's more poignant, it's just better in every way. Like when I listened to '06 Dreamin', I'm like, okay, so I knew Cordae was a storyteller. I knew that he was a lyricist. But this song right here, he's talking about his mom's, musical aspirations and essentially failures and how that happened and how it, inspired him to be the kind of artist that he is, bro. The way he was saying it or relaying all that type of stuff, bro.
Yeah.
This is like top tier artist type of behavior, bro. Like I love Wayne's features on here on back on the road and Saturday mornings. I'm a big Jordan Ward fan. We talked about this too. I love Don't Walk Away. Never See It with Juicy J, bro. Come on, bro. Come on. So, and then Shia Feeney, believe that's his daughter's name. So a song dedicated to her. And what it is to, essentially be a father, a young father at that. And Syrup Sandwiches, we talked about that single on a previous episode and how we enjoyed that one. So, yeah, bro, this project is one of my favorites of the year. And it's crazy because we talked about this as well. Why does everybody drop the best stuff at the end of the year when it's number one, not Grammy eligible until the following year? And on top of that, it's like, bro, we're set for the holidays. After I get off this podcast, I'm probably going to be playing Boyz II Men's Christmas album, bro. Like that's where my mind is at. But regardless, I appreciate this album, man, in every way. It's one of my favorites of the year. What's your thoughts on it, bro?
No, bro, I'm right with you on that one, man. I think that it's amazing. I feel like I left the album understanding who Cordae was as a person more. And I think that that's for me something that when I leave an album, there's some artists who are just singles artists who they make a cool song here and there, and that's fine. But when I leave a project, I feel like I should leave understanding you a little bit more and your perspective, your thought process, and a little bit more about your story. And I think I got that out of this album, man. Like you said, '06 Dreamin' is just an amazing song that I really appreciated, man, because it was talking about your mother's story and her failures and how it ended up impacting your life, number one, because he talks about going through the process of like his mom going on American Idol and him feeling like, oh man, we're about to like we done made it. Like I'm about to get the clothes I want. We're gonna move into a better spot, all of that, and then watching that not work out. And how that impacts you growing up, seeing things like that. I think it was just a dope perspective that I would have never known about him. And I thought that he told the story in an amazing way and how it kind of led him into his music career. Yeah, amazing, man. That's one of the standout songs for me for sure. And I like that he led the album with that. The intro was dope. I like that he showed some love to Bone Thugs with the Crossroads sample. I would look through the credits, man. I was a credit person when I used to listen to albums. I used to actually flip through the credits to see who was a writer, who's a producer. I did that on the intro, and I was confused because the Isleys are all credited on there. And I don't know what they did. Sense. Maybe they played the piano or something in the background. I don't know. Maybe they just were in the studio and he just wanted to show some love. I don't know. But
like that's crazy. But
I did peep that the Isleys were on there, and I was like, am I missing the Isley sample here? But maybe there is one. But yeah, loved it. Him and Anderson .Paak, man, I love their collaborations. I'd heard both of these collabs already prior to him. He'd already released them. but I thought that they were both fire. I think 210s is one that stands out for me with those Anderson .Paak ones. Summer Drop, another one that's fire. Never See It with Juicy J, man. We really got to show Juicy J more respect as a producer, man.
We do, bro. He produced it? I didn't even know he produced it.
I don't know. I know he produces a lot of his stuff. Let's see. Let me go. Look, don't get me lying. Oh, no, he didn't produce this one. He didn't. Okay. I'm giving him credit that he don't deserve, but it's still fire nonetheless. Nonetheless. Dope, man. I think that's another standout for me. Another one that I like the one about Shy Feeney, the one about his daughter, I thought was fire. Now You Know is another one that I liked. And yeah, man, I think it's just a really impressive album overall. There are a couple songs on here that I'll skip, but not many, man. I think it's really concise. It's not a lot of wasted space. It's really and it's impactful. Like I said, each song sounds different, but they all still kind of blend and mesh together well. And I think that, man, Cordae is a standout talent for his generation, man. I'm saying his generation like we all not the same age. He probably our age.
We're the same age, dog.
He's probably our age. For our generation, he's a standout, man. And it's good that we have somebody who is able to really resonate with the younger generation the same way that other artists did for us. So definitely, man, if you have never heard of Cordae, I highly recommend checking out this project. There's a lot of Kanye influence. I know I heard it immediately when I listened to this was the Kanye influence. There actually is a Kanye feature here that I don't care for that much, shockingly. I love the Kanye influence and the Kanye samples on here. He samples Heard Him Say, which is one of my favorite Kanye songs.
Out of here, yeah.
And I liked what he did with Heard Him Say. I thought that it was a good remake or reinterpretation of that song. I thought that was dope. But the actual Kanye feature on here is just like I expected Kanye to do a verse. It's just a chorus, and it's like not really on beat. It's just the song is cool, but I think that it was underwhelming. It's called No Bad News. I just thought the chorus for a Kanye feature on this type of project is this polished. I thought I expected more when I saw Kanye's name on here. I thought it would be a verse.
Yeah. Like this polished, but also this heavily influenced by Kanye. Like the album that comes to mind, it reminds me. I was trying to figure it out. It reminds me of Late Registration. I feel like where they took a lot of notes from Late Registration and then applied it to this album. So I was disappointed that we didn't get a verse from Ye. I feel like a part of me feels like I have no indicator of this. This is just me just being who I am. But I just feel like he had a verse. The verse maybe wasn't up to par, but Cordae still.
Don't do Kanye like that, man. Why you saying Kanye had a trash verse? Don't do
that. Listen. I remember when Ye, like, what was it? Because he was supposed to be on Donda. Soulja Boy was supposed to be on Donda. So you heard about that story?
I did. I remember that,
bro. Hilarious.
But that verse was terrible, though. Like,
yeah, it was bad because it didn't fit the song. Number one, Soulja, like, what was Soulja doing? You know what I'm saying? But I feel like maybe Cordae soldiered. Yeah, I don't know, but at least he was on the song. I think that he wanted the collaboration to still happen.
Bro, no,
just had to make sense.
You can't soldier Kanye, man. No,
you can't because he won't let you. But like, if you ease the solderness into the situation, I feel like you can work. You can make it work, bro.
Nah, man, you can't do that with Ye. But no, that might have been the case for real. I don't know. I just expected more out of that feature, man. Because when I saw his name on there, when I was listening to the album, I'm like, man, this album sounds like an old Kanye album. Like
it does.
As far as subject matter, as far as vulnerability,
the samples,
like definitely was reminiscent of that. So I expected a little bit more out of the Kanye sample, but the Kanye verse. But it's all good.
Let me ask you this: like, do you feel like because when I was listening to Travis Scott's Utopia, I thought to myself, this is Jesus. I'm listening to Cordae's album, The Crossroads, and I think to myself, this is Late Registration. Is it weird hearing like today's artists now try to interpolate, replicate, or be heavily influenced by albums that you literally grew up listening to, like that are not even that old for real? Like, is that weird? It's weird to me.
I'm gonna be honest. I think it's a little weird. And I think it's weird because, like you said, because it's not that long ago. You know, Of course, hip hop was built on samples, and that's a part of what hip hop is at its core. Hip hop was built around reinterpreting already existing music. So, on that regard, it makes sense. But I think that when you're taking something from an artist who's only like 40 something now, and you know what I mean, like an artist who's still active, and you're sampling their music, I think it is weird a little bit. And when I hear some of it, it's hard for me to not hear the direct Kanye influence. And I think because I grew up listening to Kanye's music, it's like, it's not that old, but it is though when you really think about it.
Yeah, because
if album almost 20 years. I mean, Late Registration is probably what 15 years old. You know what I mean? So I mean,
when that come out? 06? So it's 18 years old.
Almost 20 years old.
Yeah, and when
we just getting old, brother.
Yeah, when I think about it too, like because a Tribe Called Quest used to like Q-Tip or whoever was chopping up the beat would be, sampling stuff from the 70s. So in essence, it's really not that different. I think for us, we're getting older. It feels different.
It feels different, and I think it feels different because we're hearing rap sample rap, which I think is that's new. Rap is relatively young as a genre, so I think that it was different when you heard rap sampling R&B or rap sampling blues or jazz or funk. I think that felt different than a genre sampling itself. So I think that also plays a role in it. It's like you're sampling something that was sampled, So I think that adds some layers of like, not confusion, but it's just like it feels like this isn't old enough to sample this.
Exactly, and they're active artists too. Like this isn't Al Green. Not Al Green, that's a bad example, but this isn't artist that's like, because even if you sample a Tupac like song, I'll be like, cool, like Tupac has been dead longer than most hip hop, like young hip hop fans have been alive.
Yeah,
I get it, but like with like Ye is still rapping, like, you know what I mean? So it just feels weird, but as long as the quality is there, it really doesn't matter. But it's just when I think about it, I'm like, I do get a funny feeling, like, you know what I mean? But it is what it is. Cordae did justice, so it is what it is.
Cordae did it justice though, and I'm not mad at it when it's good. It's to me when it's bad, that's what stands out to me. And I think that, I mean, if Glorilla could sample Boosie,
you feel me?
I mean, like you could sample Wipe Me Down. Wipe Me Down ain't that old.
Facts. It's probably not even 20 years old. Yeah, around then. It's not that old.
It's the same era. So like I think a lot of that early 2000s stuff is getting sampled more heavily now. I think just because I feel like that is just, I think everything from the early 2000s is coming back and we're watching it. So I think it's weird to us because we're like, man, we just lived it and we're living it again. Like everybody wearing baggy clothes again.
Yeah.
It's like y'all sampling the same music from that same era of time. So I think it's just like it feels deja vu-ish to me. Like even when I see like my students wearing stuff, I'm like, I was wearing that when I was in school. You know what I mean?
Like legitimately, bro.
Legitimately, like I'm talking like the exact same clothing.
Like it's crazy. I was just reading a GQ article where they were talking about an NBA player literally dressing like in the 2000s, and people in the comments were like, "Bro, y'all were making fun of old heads for dressing like this, and now y'all recycling the whole style, the whole aesthetic, bro." So we're seeing that you're right in music too. You know what I mean? So it's just crazy to see, bro, because we lived it. But now I know how not my pioneers, but like my old heads felt about me kind of coming up. They're like, "Oh, y'all on those tight jeans wave, like we were doing that in the 80s, bro." Like, so it's crazy to see it happen in front of your own very eyes, bro.
And it was crazy, man. My uncles had the nerve to like criticize me when I started wearing like slimmer fit clothing, and I was like, bro, I see pictures of the Isleys and all of them from y'all generation, like that's crazy, like
crazy with the taco meat and the chest out, like
man, with the platform shoes, with the bell, like y'all was tripping, like
y'all was tripping. Trimming is the word.
Tweaking. Rap and Reason Podcast with Dr. Jeremy C. McCool and Earl Hopkins.